table. I suppose the task is to stay there now.
Yeah, that's a task. You can peak too early, so you've got to be careful. Forest Green, we hope, peak too early, and but we're there. And as I always say, the important thing is to keep putting the points on the board, and if that keeps you top, then that's good. The good thing about being top, of course, is every time you get a result, you gain on a lot of the chasing pack, because they can't all win. So yeah, be nice. If we're staying there, then it's because we're picking up the required number of points.
How different is the mentality though compared to when you're chasing?
Well, they say that, do you fight harder as the champion or the challenger? It's an interesting discussion. Maybe we can have another day, but at the moment we're up there. We're the champion that are defending the top spot, and then the challengers are all there. We'll have to see what they got in them to challenge us, if you like. So it's an interesting one. So nobody really knows. I think it's the character really of the people, and I think our team, I can tell by the way they celebrate goals, the way they celebrate set plays that we worked on, the way they are in the dressing room when they've had a defeat, and the way they can put it right with a victory pretty soon after, and how they deal with a victory. I know that they're the characters and the personalities that we got every chance to do what we need to do.
And is that hurt from the Hartlepool FA Cup defeat? Is that still burning to put things right in your next away game? Because obviously Guiseley was a spectacular result, but I suppose Southport a slightly different challenge.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, we on our stats we got into the penalty area against Guiseley 41 times in possession, and we got into the Hartlepool penalty area 61 times in possession. In the Guiseley one we scored 5, and the other one we couldn't score a goal, but we should have done. So no, it's gone now, that side of it, and unless I get a question I have to bring it up again. But you led me into that stat. So we just got to keep going. Sometimes that happens in football. We had a lot more overall possession against Hartlepool than we did against Guiseley, but we worked on that a little bit to give them a little bit of play so that we could nick the ball off them and hit the gaps that we were leaving for runners to run into, and I thought that worked quite well for us.
How much difference is James Dayton making at the moment?
Well, I don't know about making a difference, but he's certainly now he's got that same mentality that we need from our players. He's now into the group. He's into the group mentality and the group feelings, and they like him, he likes them, and he's become one of us. So that's very important, because he's come in late and wasn't fit, and now he's getting fitter, and he had a good half. Probably hasn't got 90 minutes in him yet, but he certainly can be dangerous, either starting and coming off at the moment, or starting on the bench and coming on when everybody's tired, and he can go and do his bit late on, depending on when we need him. But I'm pleased he's with us, and he certainly gives us another string to our bow.
Southport's game at Gateshead obviously was postponed. How much did that sort of affect your scouting of them?
Of who?
Southport's game.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it don't really affect your scouting. I mean, we'll have games from their 2 previous games anyway. It would have been good if I suppose if they had had a game, but they haven't, and I don't think they'll change too much anyway. And by the time we play them, we'll have a good look at their last couple of games today. We'll work on a few things today and tomorrow, as their strengths and weaknesses. But we just need to stay with the intent and the mentality that we've shown in the last couple of games, and hopefully turn our possession and penalty area entries and crosses and shots into goals like we did against Guiseley and we didn't against Hartlepool.
You beat Southport 3-0 at home back in August, and that was the first win of the season. I mean, it'd be nice if you could sort of kickstart being at the top of the table with another win against them, wouldn't it?
yes, but it's the 3 points really, as opposed to the story behind it. You know, it's a team that's struggling at the bottom of the table. They're always dangerous. I do remember before we got the goal, and certainly at periods during that game at home, they didn't look that bad. So all teams at this level can have their moments, if you like. So we've got to make sure that they don't have more moments than us, because they're fighting for their league, National League status.
Injuries apart from Amari and any others?
No, we're okay. Physio always tells me straight after the game, and when he says to me, you know, no injuries, then that's, you know, it's always good news and nice to hear. And I know that I can go into the build up to the next game with that same group of players that have done so well for me in the game, you know, just gone.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Have you heard anything from Amari? Obviously he had, I think, the operation on Tuesday, didn't he?
Yeah, the lads have all been in touch. I mean, you won't know yet how successful everything's been. Gavin's going to fill me in this morning, but you lot grabbed me first, so I've not got the information you want. But I know all the lads have texted him and been in touch, and he's in good spirits. He said, you know, well done to everybody for the result. So he's still with us on all that. Of course he is. But you know, he's got a long 6 weeks now in a boot, and probably 4 to 6 weeks having a pre-season, which is something he won't look forward to, because he's not one of those that looks forward to that sort of work. But he's going to have to do it to get himself back. So it's a shame we lost him, real shame, because he was having a very good season in my eyes, because it was the longest period of time he's had without a hamstring injury. And you know, it's credit to the work of our fitness coach and our physio and the work we do with him, you know, that we've managed to get him at the top of his game without an injury.
I know you don't like talking about formations, but the sort of three up front seem to have a nice balance to it on Tuesday night, with Billy Wide on one side and Dates the other. Yeah,
when you look at your tactics going into a game, you have to look at the opposition, because they do have strengths and weaknesses, and the opposition will probably do the same to us. So sometimes sticking a little in here and a big in there, and one there or two there or three there and 5 at the back or 4 at the back, sometimes it helps you cope with either their strengths or their weaknesses, and so, you know, we do that pretty extensively. Me, Russell, Bookie and Tim Bell, we sit round together and we work out the tactic of the game without it being too difficult for our boys to take in. And with some of them you have to...
Well, if Bookie's taking it in, then surely...
He's all right. He's got more intelligent as he's got older.
Just going back to Southport, obviously it is the first time you played a team twice, so it is genuine progress, sort of sign that there is progress of the season going on. And how careful do you have to be that these players who've not had that before don't sort of think, oh, we've been 3-0, it's going to be easy enough?
Well, you don't know that till the day. You know, you prepare them properly as best you can. Excuse me. And then they got to trust their training. That's what we say. You know, and if we trained all of a sudden, you know, skipping and dancing around and prancing around and thinking we've won the league, then we'll get beat on Saturday. There's no doubt about that. And maybe that's all I need to say in our meeting this morning. But now the boys know it's not halfway through the season yet, and we're in a good position. We've got here through hard work, endeavour, and boys wanting to be there. Actually, you know, they say that winning's not everything, but the will to win is, and I think that's the big thing for our group, and we bring that out on some occasions.
So you make a great thing of the 2 points a game and the 10 games. Obviously, This next 10 games does take you beyond halfway in the season. So is it as perhaps a bit more crucial in terms of the moves other teams can make and that you can make?
Yeah. Well, I always split the season up into 4 groups of 10, because the last 6 is about, at that point, you know, you pretty much know what you're going to be doing. but you just have to go out with leather at that point. But each group of 10 has different meanings behind it. The first one is to get a good start and get numbers on the board, as it were, and then you've got your second and third ones that are really building up for the last 6. Because if you're there or thereabouts in the last 6, you've done your job. In which case you know that, right, we're here now challenging, this is it. No one's going to win it before 6 games to the end of the season. But that's when you really say that you've got your 6 cup finals. And you've got to be in a position to be in those 6 cup finals. And if it only takes 3 or 4 cup finals, then great. But no one wins the league before 40 games.